A true crime YouTuber named Stephanie Sue somehow made her way into the Diddy trial. The trial itself has not yet begun, but they're in the process of jury selection. And this YouTuber, who has no journalistic credit, no career in journalism whatsoever, she is merely known for eating massive amounts of fast food in mukbang videos where she narrates crime stories. And that's literally it. That's her entire shtick. A lot of people find that she is able to deliver her video essays respectfully, and other people think that it's inherently disrespectful that she is shoveling her face with KFC while talking about someone dying in a brutal way.
They literally do this in an episode of Person of Interest. Reset the counter. The character of Shaw, like they show a flashback to her when she was in medical school, and like somebody, like a patient of hers, like she was going to be a surgeon and a patient dies, and she like tells the family while eating a Cliff Bar.
Yeah. Well, look, you can't argue with the numbers because Stephanie Sue is massively popular. I think that maybe she was given a press badge just to get more media attention on the trial in general.
Why isn't Elad over there? We need Elad over
Yeah, what the heck? Elad, get over there, get in the Diddy trial, and start making mukbangs with Stephanie Sue. That's what we want. So she posted a TikTok talking about what's going on inside the courtroom because there are no cameras allowed, and you're just supposed to rely on her telling you her side of the story.
I mean, the woman who shovels KFC down her face, I trust her implicitly.
She's surprisingly svelte.
Okay, here we go.
I just spent 8 hours in a room with Diddy. This is my first time leaving the house in 3 months, and I'm at a federal courthouse in New York City. This is day 2 of jury selection for Diddy's trial, and it was, okay, listen, there's
Is she like using hand sanitizer right now?
no video cameras allowed. There's nothing. It's not being live streamed, and there's only 3 rows of press that were allowed inside. Listen, the sketch artists are so good, but something about seeing him.
This is exactly the type, guys. This is why women probably shouldn't be journalists, because imagine it's the OJ trial and some woman's like, "Did you see that person doing the sketches?" Like, that's something you make 20 years down the line in like a...
OJ was like low-key serving cunt in the courtroom. This is why women, end of sentence. Just keep going. Yeah.
In person, in the same room, was so intense. He would turn around and make eye contact with like each members of the press and just like everyone in the courthouse. And the way that we can describe the way he looks, because there's no pictures allowed, so we don't really know, but
She's eating an Uncrustable.
Yeah.
the way he looks is, okay, we were having debates about this during lunch, but it's like, you know, koalas when they get fuzzy, like if it's really humid and they have like very fuzzy grayish white hair, he kind of is reminiscent to that. But let me tell you, the way he looks at every single person in that courtroom is the most intense thing ever. I feel like he's challenging people to break eye contact first. I almost peed myself. But I'm gonna go through all of the jury selection details in...
Barbara Walters is just like...
Barbara Walters is quaking.
Yeah.
Maybe another TikTok, maybe in a YouTube video. Follow Rotten Mango on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube. But starting Monday, once the actual trial starts, once the opening statements start, I'm gonna be in there every single day, and I'm going to give you all the details every single day.
Every single day.
This is like...
Which is today. It starts today.
Yes, this is kind of like Time Traveler Steps on a Stick, House and Habit. Right?
Yeah.
So we wanted, as a society, we wanted to tear down the halls of power that were the media and the institutions. We wanted to get rid of your news reporter behind a desk in his suit and tie and the woman in her dress. We wanted on-the-ground reporting from people just like you and me. Yes. Unfortunately, people just like you and me eat Uncrustables and use hand sanitizer while talking about the absolute brutal attack on women and all other such matters of indecency.
And children.
And children. So, you know, I suppose we had this coming.
If you wanted to see the mainstream media outlets crash and burn and get replaced by independent media, this is what that looks like.
We spent so long.
For better or for worse.
We spent so long wondering if we could. We never stopped to ask ourselves whether we should.
She followed this up with another TikTok saying in the caption, "Just a girl eating her mushy PB&J outside the federal courthouse after spending 8 hours in the same room as Diddy, taking 79 pages of notes because cameras aren't allowed in the courtroom, and I know you need to know what's happening." So, updates to follow on her YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, every platform. She's going to probably gain a massive following that on top of the one she already has from this coverage, and enrich herself on the irreverence of her coverage about something so inherently serious as claims of abuse, PDF, philia, etc. And, you know, since they're in the process of jury selection when she recorded that video, they're asking people if they're aware of celebrities, and I don't know whether they prefer to use baby oil as genital lubricant.
Okay, so what I'm picturing now is like her making her "get ready with me" video right outside the courthouse because she's such a hot mess.
Right.
That's how I would characterize her delivery. Hot mess delivery.
Get ready with me in the courthouse bathroom before the Diddy trial, day one.
I'm wearing orange in honor of the victims.
So deeply unserious.
It's so deeply unserious.
So here were some of the tweets criticizing Stephanie Sue. "The defense of Stephanie Sue will never fail to floor me, because why do you feel compelled to defend a woman who monetizes herself telling stories about the brutalization of real people as though it is gossip or a fairy tale?"
It is. Okay, so that has always been what's weird to me about, like, look, I like, okay, I shouldn't say that I like true crime, but there's, like, I like Mr. Ballin, I guess, like, in so much as that it seems like there's at least a certain amount of seriousness paid to the material. But when I'm watching a woman put eyeshadow on, he's like, and then he cut her head off, I can't.
There's no real way to do that respectfully, but I will entertain the argument. I mean, okay, take a look at this thumbnail from Stephanie Sue. She's sitting there, with a co-host of some sort, and the title of her video is "Sick Psychological Experiment Let PDF Files Adopt Young Kids for Fun. KFC Mukbang." And it's just mountains of fried chicken in front of her, making a scared face like, they were brutalizing children?
The only way it could be more unserious is if she had food in her mouth.
She's actively eating a chicken wing?
Yeah.
Yeah. One person who is a fan of hers said that she regularly tackles heavy subject matter like murder and makes it palpable by inserting respectful playfulness and still advocating for victims. It's just her style of presenting information. I'm just saying I'd rather hear her take than someone in the media.
Okay, so I will say that 110% she's going to find an audience of people that just don't have the desire to sit there and watch a person with a suit and tie or a pleated dress relay information what is societally referred to as the appropriate manner. So there's always going to be a market for something like this. Now, I don't think you're ever going to see something like this make it onto mainstream television, but this is what the internet is. It's taking a bunch of different ideas, many of which are not socially acceptable, and finding your audience. Mm-hmm. So
I'm not sure there is an objectively right or wrong way to consume information about crime.
I would never...
there is a proper way to make the content, to present the information. I don't think Stephanie Sue is on the mark, being surrounded by donuts and ramen noodles and fried chicken while she talks about people getting murdered or assaulted. In fact, people have reposted her takes on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial from a couple of years back, which I hadn't seen before. And she's just in the middle of eating ramen while talking about the Johnny Depp trial. And I wanted to show that clip.
Okay, hold on here. And here we go.
Johnny Depp is not a victim. He clearly much is, but he can also be an imperfect victim. And I think especially when dealing with even true crime, it's important to remember just because somebody is not perfect and does not light up the room when they walk in, doesn't mean that their trauma isn't as important as victims whose smiles were contagious. Do you get what I'm saying? So, sure.
The chewing sound effect is hers.
It was like...
She put that in there.
It was like, if all you listened to was the audio version of it, it was perfectly fine up until the comical sound effect and the edit.
Yeah. And this person said, I feel nothing but disgust towards you doing a mukbang and casually talking about an abuse trial while taking the abuser's side is nasty. Quietly deleting the video to avoid backlash instead of apologizing. You're a horrible person and I wish the worst, Stephanie Sue. Yeah.
It's kind of like what I always tell you, like this day and age, you have to kind of, if you want internet fame, you have to be okay with being viewed as a horrible person.
Which makes you a little bit of a sociopath. Like,
Yeah.
you're just willing to do whatever it takes for your own benefit and your own following. And she has clearly found her niche of hundreds of thousands, millions of people who want to see this kind of content. I think it is desensitizing them to human suffering and the gravity of the stories that she is telling. I truly do. But I also don't think that the mainstream media is any less or more trustworthy than Stephanie Sue.
Correct.
That's not really the point.
In
It's
fact,
just
one might even argue that that's more nefarious because it's attempting to give itself an air of officiality and superiority that it doesn't deserve, oftentimes hiding much more nefarious intentions.
I think both forms of presenting this information have their own faults.
Perhaps one is evil and one is disrespectful.
Sure. We have a 20 from Cesario JPN. Wow, and I thought many true crime YouTubers were danger hair-colored women with daddy issues. Of course, nobody can match the true crime king Robert Stack and Unsolved Mysteries. Dennis Farina was a poor replacement. I'm not a fan of any true crime. I don't really listen to any of it. I don't watch any of it. I think that it can truly desensitize you over time to continue exposing yourself to these horrific stories of people suffering and being killed and stalking and all of this stuff. It just makes it all into, as they said, a fairy tale. Like, you're not really engaging with the fact that this really happened. And sometimes people are even making a joke out of it by pairing it with a mukbang or a get ready with me video, putting on their makeup. It doesn't match the seriousness of what they're covering.
Yeah.
And that matters. It's like wearing sweatpants to a funeral.
If you want to do, like, I guess people would make the argument, like, if you want to do Get Ready With Me is then review movies about violence or something like that and maybe stay out of the true
That
crime.
doesn't make as much money, though.
Yeah. The real question is food allowed in the courtroom?
Well, Stephanie Sue would love that, but she's eating her Uncrustable on the sidewalk instead.
What she's going to do is she's going to have, like, a fake courtroom set built where she's going to deliver her monologues about it, like, with a bucket of chicken next to her.
Love it. The latest update that I actually heard about the goings-on of the Diddy trial is that his defense team is arguing that him and Cassie were mutually abusive, that they were both beating up on each other. And I don't know, just after watching that hotel surveillance footage that TMZ released of him brutally beating Cassie, I didn't see her fighting back in any way. I saw him just beating her to a pulp with no retaliation whatsoever.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.